Hey guys, your friendly neighborhood artillery Jay here, coming at you with a different kind of a video. I know most of you are used to my gaming videos, because that's mostly what I do on the channel, but for those of you that don't know, when the channel first started, I did a lot of other things too. And one of the things that I do on the channel is cooking type stuff. So today I have a cooking tutorial for you guys. Really simple and easy meal to make. It's great for if you're on the run all the time, you don't have time to just sit down and cook something. I think the entire thing, with trimming the meat like I do, took me maybe 5 to 8 minutes to prep, and it cooks while you are at work. So let's get to it for this cool little crock pot recipe. Okay guys, so we're in the kitchen now. For this meal, what you're going to need is a beef roast. I believe this is like a 3-pound roast, 2 or 3 pounds. I don't remember offhand. You will need a package of some au jus gravy mix, a package of any type of like ranch powder mix stuff, a stick of butter. I try to use unsalted butter. This time I got salted, which is fine. Typically I try to stay away from it. And the last thing that you'll need is a thing of pepperoncinis. Now the recipe calls for 5 of those, but I usually use half a jar of those and then half a jar of also this roasted bell pepper strips. They're relatively cheap at most grocery stores here in the States, so you can find them pretty easy. So the first thing that I normally do is trim the fat roll off the side of my beef right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, and as you can see, I trimmed most of the fat off right here. I did leave a little bit there, and I know a lot of people leave the fat on, which is perfectly fine. It does help to preserve some of the flavor of the meat, but I'm very picky with fat. And there's enough marbling in here throughout the roast itself that it does hold a lot of the flavor anyway, and with everything else that's going in there, it should be fine. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here to our crock pot. And I've got a fairly large crock pot here, but we're going to take our roast and just drop it in there, just like that. You won't need any water for this recipe. It's relatively simple. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 powder mixes and we're going to cover the whole roast, top, bottom, and sides with both of those powders. So I'll go ahead and do that. Alright, so now I've got all the powder on there. As you can see, there's plenty of powder left over, so feel free to be generous with this stuff, guys. I'm just going to take my stick of butter and set it right on top here, just like that. And I'm going to take my peppers and just kind of dump them over top. Alright. And kind of just spread them out across the top of the meat here a little bit. That way the flavor from the peppers kind of like soaks down into the meat while it's cooking. You don't need to put any water in here. Something that I do sometimes is I will chop up some carrots and throw them in here. And if I do that, then I put a little bit of the juice from the peppers from the jar into the crock pot itself, just to kind of moisturize those carrots a little bit, because they do kind of pull some of the moisture out. But basically, all we're going to do now is close this puppy up and cook it on low for about 8 hours. So as you can see, I got my lid on, and I went ahead and I turned it on to low. So in 8 hours, we will be ready to eat. So I will see you guys then. For me, it will actually be a little bit longer than 8 hours because I have jury duty today. So yeah, it doesn't hurt to let this cook a little bit longer. I actually had it cook for about 12 hours one time, and it was perfectly fine. So feel free to put it in a little bit early if you need to. If you need to like go to work or something, and it should be ready by dinner time. So I will be back once I'm ready to eat. Okay guys, it's actually been about 13.5 hours. I got a little bit caught up doing a bunch of running around today, and had to go take care of some stuff. And by the time I realized what time it was 7:30. But the roast is done. As you can see, it still looks good. Everything's all moist. It smells so delicious. You can see there's a lot of moisture down there, and that's all from the butter and the moisture from the meat coming out, from the peppers and everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and serve me up a little bowl of this real quick, and I will be right back. Okay guys, I got me a nice bowl of this stuff. And I just want to show you real quick. Like, you can put the fork in there. You don't need a knife, and it's really steamy, so it just steamed up the lens, but it just falls apart. You don't need to do anything else. So you got your meal right here. I would suggest if you're making it for more than one person, it is just me eating, so this is about half of that roast right here. I would suggest if you're making it for more than one person, throw some carrots and potatoes in there, let those roast with it, or make some mashed potatoes and corn or something, just so you got a little bit more to go around, because this is a small roast. But you can always use a larger roast, or maybe throw 2 of them in there, double up the ingredients. But yeah, this is a really good meal, very delicious. I'm going to take one bite real quick, just to sign off. So let's get me a little piece right here, and oh yeah, baby, you ain't passing no vegan challenges with this stuff. So yeah, make it for yourself, and the recipe that I use will be at the end of the video.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for watching.